Tonight we come to a very, very important part of this service because the ministries here in Hobe Sound began in 1947 under the leadership of H. Rob French, for whom this tabernacle is memorialized. And across the years, there have only been 4 presidents since then. G.R. French came to take his uncle's place when his health began to fail. He was followed by James Keaton, and then Paul Pierpoint served as an interim president of FEA for a couple of years, and then Sid Grant became the president. About a year and a half ago, Sid Grant informed us that he would be ending his term as president of FEA. And of course, times of transition are always challenging. They're times of concern. If you look at the pages of history, it's when there arose a generation who knew not the Lord following Moses and Joshua that significant changes took place. And there were a number of other transitional times that were very, very important. So the board took that very, very seriously. And I want to give you tonight a little bit of the process that was involved as the board began to seek for a new president of FEA. First of all, a nominating committee was established from the board of directors, and the reason I'm here tonight was that I was asked to chair that nominating committee. And the instructions that were given to the nominating committee were that we were to solicit names from board members, from missionaries serving under FEA, HIM, and from the staff of HIM. Those names were collected and given to the nominating committee, and we received 12 names for consideration in that process. After we had considered those names, we decided on 3 names that we felt we should recommend to the full board as nominations. So we had a board meeting. The entire list of names was given to the board, and then the 3 recommendations out of that list that the nominating committee had recommended, and the board unanimously confirmed that those 3 names should stand as nominations. Each of those individuals was contacted to determine whether they were willing to allow their names to be considered, and they all agreed that that should happen. Each nominee was interviewed by the board, and then we came together this week to consider those 3 names. Actually, we decided to list those names in a number of in an order of priority, and vote on only 1 name. And we did that. We selected the first name on the list, and when we voted on that, it was a unanimous decision to select that person to be president of FEA for the days that are ahead. That person is someone who is very familiar to everyone here in the Hobe Sound area, because his parents came to Hobe Sound to put his older sister, in school. He was not born yet. He was born after they arrived in Hobe Sound. He grew up here, attended Hobe Sound Christian Academy from kindergarten through 12th grade. He attended Hobe Sound Bible College 4 years as a missions major and graduated. He married his high school sweetheart. He told us the other day that she broke up with him 3 times because she wanted to make sure he was committed to missions. Well, that's pretty good. I'm glad they got it straightened out, though. They both were committed to missions. After his graduation from Hobe Sound Bible College with a missions degree, he applied to and was accepted in Moody Flight School, where he earned several of his flight certificates and completed a degree in aircraft maintenance technology. That man is Harold Martin. Thank you for your show of support. Harold, I would ask you to come to the platform if you would. While I'm finishing this, I would also ask the members of the board of directors that are here, several are gone, but the members of the board of directors of FEA that are here, I would ask you gentlemen to come and take your places over here if you would. When Harold graduated from Moody Flight School, he immediately returned to Florida and went to work for Missionary Flights International. And across the past 14 years, he has been working there. They recognized his gifts and skills, and he has been steadily promoted at MFI, as they are known. He headed the massive MFI relief effort that took place following the earthquake in Haiti in 2010. That was a massive operation. Thousands of tons of relief supplies were flown in. First responders were flown in. There were a number of jets that were donated or given, the MFI was given access to them to do all of this transporting. And on a daily basis, MFI was moving planes in and out of Port-au-Prince, Haiti. Some of those planes were given by NASCAR teams, the racing fellows. They provided their planes, and Harold coordinated that whole effort, a massive, massive operation. As a matter of fact, across the years that Harold has been involved, and I'm not saying that he's directly responsible for this, but I am saying that his responsibilities have grown as this has increased. MFI now serves over 400 missions up and down the Caribbean chain. And Harold has been promoted to Executive Vice President, the number 2 man at MFI. We've decided to make him the number 1 man at FEA. Here in our community, Harold has served regularly on TLC trips, leading 5 teams for Touching Lives for Christ. He was the president of the Hope Sound Bible College Alumni Association for several years. He served and does serve as a member of the Hope Sound Bible College Board of Directors. He is a member of the Hope Sound Bible Church Board, and he was recently elected to be chairman of Hope Sound Bible Church Board. Now let me tell you how this will play out. In the days and weeks ahead, in the months ahead, Sid Grant will remain president of FEA Ministries. His term runs through this time next year, through the board meeting next year, 2017. In the month of July, Harold Martin and his family are going to end their duties with MFI and will come on board here, and Harold will work alongside President Grant as the president designate, getting ready to receive those responsibilities next February. You'll be learning all about Hope International Missions and Seabreeze Community and Seabreeze Camp Meeting. Of course, ironically, he grew up in Seabreeze Community. He's attended Seabreeze Camp Meeting every year he's been in this area ever since he was a tiny little boy. And so we're delighted to be able to install Harold Martin as the president of FEA next camp meeting, February 2017. I'll just say on a personal note here, I've spent 20 years at Hope Sound. And when I came to Hope Sound, God put Hope Sound in my heart. And I have a passion, as I know many, many of our other leaders and our people here in Hope Sound have, for the continuation of this work. It's bigger than I am. It's bigger than Harold Martin or Sid Grant or anybody else. It's God's work. And God gives us the wonderful privilege of being a participant in His great work. But as I look to the future, I cannot help but be blessed and thrilled and encouraged when I see our pastor, a 37-year-old man, doing so well pastoring Hope Sound Bible Church. We are blessed people. And now we've appointed a 41-year-old man who has a wife and 4 children. I'm not near as young as I used to be. I'm 64. I'm the old man now. But as I look to the future, it gives me great cause for encouragement to say God's got a work for Hope Sound Ministries. God's got a future for Hope Sound Ministries. And I just want to challenge you tonight to stand behind these young men. Stand with them, pray for them. And friends, I believe God has great tomorrows as we'll honor Him and maintain truthfulness to our purpose and commitment on which we were founded. I believe the future is as bright as the promises of God. Harold's family's a little shy about coming, as you can well understand. But I think you boys are going to just have to swallow real deep and come with your mother and let us take a look at a wonderful family of young fellows and their mother that joined Harold Martin. As I look at this family, I think, Lord, keep every one of those boys for us. Don't let any one of them wander away. And I hope you'll covenant together to pray for this family. Come on right up here and stand. They're not near this quiet when we play ball on Monday afternoon. But I hope you'll band together with this family and pray for them. Kayla has served in our cafeteria for the last 2 years and has done an excellent job. One of the things that was attractive about this family is their Hope Sound to the bone. If you cut them, they bleed Hope Sound. Don't try, but that's still true. It's a privilege today to have them represent us in FEA Ministries. Harold, would you like to say something?
Well, thank you, Brother Stetler. And I had some notes written out here, but I think I'm just going to say phooey on those. Speak from my heart this evening. I fully recognize the quality of men that have been in this job before me. And as I've thought about it over the last few weeks and months, it's really weighed on me that there's a whole lot more here than just leading people and having a vision for an organization. We need the presence of God on our lives. And I just wish that you would pray for me, pray for my family. I could take you to the little cabin down here at the corner of Bethel Way and Beulah Lane, where during my senior year of college, shortly after Kayla and I were married, and I was struggling with just how in the world was the Lord going to take care of us, and where were we going to serve, and how was He going to meet all of our needs, He very clearly, in a very special way, gave me the promise of Philippians chapter 1 and verse 6, that I could be confident of this very thing, of He who had begun the work would be faithful to perform it until the day of Jesus Christ. And I know that verse was written to the church there in Philippi to encourage them in their spiritual walk, but I mentioned to the board, I don't think it's pulling it too far out of context to think about it in the terms of Hope Sound and the ministries here. God started the work, and He's going to be faithful. If He can use me, I want to be used. I do wish that you would pray for my family. Pray for me. I think it's safe to assume that there's a whole bunch of people here tonight that are rather surprised. Think you're surprised. Think how surprised I am. Brother French gave me a Bible as a graduation gift back when I graduated from college, and he wrote in the cover, I just found it again recently, and this was about 2 months after the Lord had given me that promise of Philippians 1:6. Brother French gave me a Bible, and he said, Harold and Kayla, give all you have and all you are to Christ, and you'll be surprised what He will do with it. And if he's listening tonight, I guarantee you he's surprised. I know I am. And he signed it, Philippians 1:6, and that has meant so much to me over the years. The Lord gave us a verse out of Revelation chapter 3, where it's talking to the church in Philadelphia, and He says, I've set before you an open door. And the song that has come to my heart over and over again in these last couple of months as I've considered this position was the words from the Gaither song from back in the 90s. Beyond the open door is a new and fresh anointing. Hear the Spirit calling you to go. Walk on through the door. The Lord will go before you into a greater power than you've ever known before. And that's my prayer. That's my prayer for my family. That's a prayer for me. I do wish that you'd pray for me, especially the next few weeks. They're going to be very hard. I love MFI. I haven't argued with God about it, but it's going to be an interesting 3 or 4 months as I continue there. Pray for that ministry. I have to have a staff meeting tomorrow morning and tell some people that I love dearly what the plans are for the future for me, and the leadership there is aware of it. But I appreciate your prayers, and pray for the ministries here at Hope Sound. If we can have a part in it, we want to. We're excited about the future. Thank you.
May I just point out to you before you, I'd like for us to wrap this up by giving them a good round of applause, and I don't mean to interject, but I just want to point out to you that we have had the privilege of having a ringside seat as things have worked just as they were supposed to. Sid Grant was led to the Lord by a product of FEA, and he came to Hope Sound Bible College, and then he led Spanish Ministries, and then he has led FEA for the last number of years. That's exactly how it should work. And now one of our own who came here as a young boy has listened to preaching and been prayed for by people right here, and now at this point, God brings him to be the leader of this organization. I'm glad that God is in control. I'd invite you to stand and let's welcome Harold Martin and his family.
We thank the Lord for his guidance. We thank the Lord that in his timing, he knows exactly the person he wants to succeed us. And from the time I turned in my statement of stepping down at the end of my term, we have been praying that God would lead us to the right person that could lead FEA Ministries into the future. And we feel good about it. And I'm looking forward to working with Harold and his family for a few months prior to my turning the baton over to somebody else. Harold, we welcome you, and I trust God will bless you and your family as you prepare yourself to take up the mantle of this organization and lead it into the future. And may God help us all together as we work during the next few months in this transitional time. I believe the future is bright for FEA Ministries and the Hope Sound Ministries in general. And thank you for the role you've played in praying for us and supporting us in the last 9 years. And God bless you as we continue to serve this evening.